Hello everyone, just this week I finished the book Looking for Alaska by John Green. This is the third book by John Green I've read. First, Looking for Alaska. Second, there is The Fault in Our Stars. And third is Paper Towns. These are all really good books, so hard to put down, and you can just keep reading them for ages. The final book I want to read by John Green is called An Abundance of Katherines. And this one looks really interesting. I just haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing. If you haven't already been able to tell from the title and thumbnail, today we're going to be going over questions related to the book, Finding Alaska. And they're all from Oprah Magazine. Link will be in the description below. Okay, so the first question I'm going to start off with is, would you read another book by this author? And obviously, as you can tell, I've already said this, but I've read, Paper Towns and The Fault in Our Stars already. So yes, I definitely consider reading An Abundance of Katherines, which I'm definitely going to, and I will get to as soon as I can. So yes, I would consider reading another book by John Green. The second question I'm going to be answering about the book Looking for Alaska is, what was the most surprising part? And honestly, the most surprising part about this one is, I'm sorry for the spoiler, but Alaska dies, and I didn't think anything of it. Because they split into two sections, I guess, and that the first one's before, and the second one's after, and I had no clue that Alaska would die. I'm now sad. And on that note, we're leading into the question, how has this book affected my mood? And actually, it kind of made me sad after reading it, but then it gets happy in the end, so I'm really excited that turned out for them. How did your opinion of this book change as you read it? And the way I'm going to answer that question is, so at first, we meet the Colonel. He's a short little dude who knows a lot. He's kind of, stuck up, kind of, in my opinion. I'm sorry. But then, they seem to get, a really, really good bond towards the end. And I'm so happy because Miles really found someone who he can connect to, even though Alaska did pass away. Fifth question is, how was the book's title cover? How does it represent the book? Good title, although I'm gonna assume Looking for Alaska means looking for the cause of her death, after. And then another part of the question was, how would I change the title? And honestly, I have to think about this one for a second. Maybe I think I would just put Alaska. I know it's a little blunt, but I feel like it could sum up this whole book. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, next question. Question 6. Is this book under or overrated? And honestly, I think it's underrated. I know, it's it's a New York Times bestseller. It has I don't know what this word's called, the Prince Award. And even though it has all these awards, I feel like not enough people my age and ages to come read this book, because I know a lot of people do read it, but I feel like a lot of people can also benefit from reading this. So I feel like it's underrated. It's an amazing book. Question 7. And the question is, how does this book remind me of any other book? And honestly, it does remind me of the writing style in The Fault in Our Stars and Paper Towns, just because John Green just has that kind of dark but light at the same time, writing style about him. And I think it's so unique, and it's just so fun to read. Question 8 asks, did it impact you? As in, do you think you'll remember this book months or years from now? And by that, I would say, if someone comes and asks me, hey, did you ever read this book? I'm going to be like, yeah. And they're like, can you tell me what it was about? And I think I could tell them. The first book I read wasn't Paper Towns, but it was The Fault in Our Stars. And I could probably give you a brief description of this book, but not in this video. Question 9 asks, would you ever consider rereading this book? And honestly, I don't like to reread books. The only book I've ever actually reread was Oliver Twist, and Oliver Twist is my favorite book, just because I think it's so timeless, but I don't normally reread books because I have such a good memory, and it honestly kind of annoys me to know the plot of a book, but, I'm sure you can reread this. I'm sure it'd be just as good. Final question, question number 10, and the question is, who would I want to read this book? And actually, I have a very good answer for this. Such a good question to end out on, I know. I would choose my exchange student. His name was Sergio. He went back to Spain recently. But I feel like this book would just match his personality so well. I feel like he'd really like it. Yeah, I think I'm so sad that we didn't actually have these books when Sergio was here in America. But if he got to read this, it'd mean a lot to me. because I just think you can relate to it so much. But anyway, that was the final question. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you want me to do another book review, just tell me what book it is, and I can certainly read it. I hope you have an amazing day. Bye! Oh, and don't mind the cardboard that's right behind me. That was just for like, it was for like a project that we were doing for a garage sale, but it's fine. I'll surprise.